Alright, so today I'm going to be writing on this whiteboard, and I'm going to be writing some little tips for helping us to feel a little happier or to lift our moods when we need it. So, first thing I'm going to do is light this candle. I chose this candle because it's for laughter. It says, "Let the joy of laughter enter my life every day, bringing happiness and healing to my heart." Okay, so let's light the candle. Okay, so one reason that I really wanted to make this video was because, I can feel that way sometimes too, and sometimes there's really not such an easy fix for making us feel better. But sometimes there's certain things that I like to do that just kind of lift my spirits for that moment in time. One thing that I like to do is put on a song. Music, I think, has the ability to just instantly change our mood. Maybe it makes us feel happy, maybe it makes us feel sad. Either way, I think that music is one thing that we can really use to change the mood that we are in. So I decided to just look up some tips for helping us to brighten our moods a little bit. Okay, so they're just small little daily habits that we can maybe consciously try to do here and there if we need it. So I'm going to write them on the board, and I'll read a little about that action. Okay? So the first one listed here, now these are some daily habits. Okay, the first one is to smile. Okay? So what it says here is, you tend to smile when you're happy, but it's actually a two-way street. We smile because we're happy, and smiling causes the brain to release dopamine, which makes us happier. That doesn't mean you have to go around with a fake smile plastered on your face, but the next time you find yourself feeling low, crack a smile and see what happens. Okay? So that's our first little tip or daily action we can do to make us feel a little bit better. Okay. So the next tip on this list is exercise. Okay. So what this says is, exercise isn't just for your body. Regular exercise can help to reduce stress, feelings of anxiety, and symptoms of depression while boosting self-esteem and happiness. Even a small amount of physical activity can make a difference. You don't have to train for a triathlon. The trick is to not overexert. If you suddenly throw yourself into a strenuous routine, you'll probably just end up frustrated and sore. So consider these exercise starters. Take a walk around the block every night after dinner. Sign up for a beginner's class in yoga or Tai Chi. Or start your day with 5 minutes of stretching. Remind yourself of any fun activities you once enjoyed that have fallen by the wayside, or activities you've always wanted to try, such as golf, bowling, or dancing. Okay, that's tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 3 is to get plenty of sleep. Okay, so what this says is, no matter how much modern society steers us toward less sleep, we know that adequate sleep is vital to good health, brain function, and emotional well-being. Let's see, it gives you some tips for how to get more sleep. But I think that's a big reason why you're all here watching this video. So it lists some tips for helping to try and get a little more sleep each night. Right, and I'm using this as this is for painting, but I like it, and it was sitting right near this thing, so I'm using it as an eraser. Going to just clean the board a little. Okay. So the next tip is eat with mood in mind. Okay. So what this says is, you already know that food choices have an impact on your overall physical health, but some foods can also affect your state of mind. For example, carbohydrates release serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone. But just keep these simple carbs, like foods high in sugar and starch, to a minimum, because that energy is short and you'll crash. Try to choose complex carbs like vegetables, beans, and whole grains. Also, lean meat, poultry, legumes, and dairy are high in protein, which helps to release dopamine and norepinephrine, which boost energy and concentration. And also try to keep away from highly processed or deep-fried foods. They tend to leave you feeling down. And so it says, start by making one better food choice each day. For example, swap a big sweet breakfast pastry for some Greek yogurt with fruit. You'll still satisfy your sweet tooth and the protein will help you avoid a mid-morning energy crash. Try adding in a new food swap each week. Okay, so that was tip number 4. Tip number 5 is to be grateful. Okay. So what this says is, simply being grateful can give your mood a big boost, among other benefits. For example, a recent 2-part study found that practicing gratitude can have a significant impact on feelings of hope and happiness. Start each day by acknowledging one thing you're grateful for. You can do this while you're brushing your teeth or just waiting for that alarm to go off. As you go about your day, try to keep an eye out for pleasant things in your life. They can be big things, such as knowing that someone loves you or getting a well-deserved promotion. But they can also be little things, such as a coworker who offered you a cup of coffee or the neighbor who waved to you. Maybe even just the warmth of the sun on your skin. With a little practice, you may even become more aware of all the positive things around you. Oops. Okay, that was tip number 5. Okay, so tip number 6, and that is give a compliment. Okay. So what this says is, research shows that performing acts of kindness can help you feel more satisfied. Giving a sincere compliment is a quick, easy way to brighten someone's day while giving your own happiness a boost. Catch the person's eye and say it with a smile so they know you mean it. You might be surprised by how good it makes you feel. If you want to offer someone a compliment on their physical appearance, make sure to do it in a respectful way. Yes. Okay. Alright, so that was tip number 6. Okay, let's clean the board a bit. Okay, so tip number 7 is to breathe deeply. And what it says is, you're tense, your shoulders are tight, and you feel as though you might lose it. We all know that feeling. Instinct may tell you to take a long, deep breath to calm yourself down. Turns out that instinct is a good one. According to Harvard Health, deep breathing exercises can help reduce stress. The next time you feel stressed or at your wit's end, work through these steps. close your eyes. Try to envision a happy memory or beautiful place. Number 2, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Number 3, slowly breathe out through your mouth or nose. Number 4, repeat this process several times until you start to feel yourself calm down. If you're having a hard time taking slow, deliberate breaths, try counting to 5 in your head with each inhale and exhale. So let's see what the next tip is. Alright, so the next tip is to acknowledge the unhappy moments. Okay. So now what it says is, a positive attitude is generally a good thing, but bad things happen to everyone. It's just part of life. If you get some bad news, make a mistake, or just feel like you're in a funk, don't try to pretend you're happy. Acknowledge the feeling of unhappiness, letting yourself experience it for a moment. Then shift your focus toward what made you feel this way and what it might take to recover. Would a deep breathing exercise help? A long walk outside? Talking it over with someone? Let the moment pass and take care of yourself. Remember, no one is happy all the time. Okay. I forget what number we're on. So the next tip is to keep a journal. Okay. So here what it says is, a journal is a good way to organize your thoughts, analyze your feelings, and make plans. And you don't have to be a literary genius or write volumes to benefit. It can be as simple as jotting down a few thoughts before you go to bed. If putting certain things in writing makes you nervous, you can always shred it when you've finished. It's the process that counts. Okay. So that was tip number 9. Okay, let's get this a little clean here. So, tip number 10 is face stress head on. this tip. Life is full of stressors, and it's impossible to avoid all of them. There's no need to. Stanford psychologist Kelly McGonigal says that stress isn't always harmful, and we can even change our attitudes about stress. For those stressors you can't avoid, remind yourself that everyone has stress. There's no reason to think it's all on you. And chances are you're stronger than you think you are. Instead of letting yourself get overwhelmed, try to tackle the stressor head on. This might mean initiating an uncomfortable conversation or putting in some extra work. But the sooner you tackle it, the sooner the pit in your stomach will start to shrink. Okay, so that was our 10th tip. Now, the next sort of category here, these are weekly habits that you can try to get into. Okay, so our first weekly habit is to declutter. Okay. Okay, so it says, decluttering sounds like a big project, but setting aside just 20 minutes a week can have a big impact. What can you do in 20 minutes? Lots. Set a timer on your phone and take 15 minutes to tidy up a specific area of one room. Say your closet or that out-of-control junk drawer. Put everything in its place and toss or give away any extra clutter that's not serving you anymore. Keep a designated box for giveaways to make things a little easier. Use the remaining 5 minutes to do a quick walkthrough of your living space, putting away whatever stray items end up in your path. You can do this trick once a week, once a day, or any time you feel like your space is getting out of control. Okay, so that was tip number 11. So tip number 12 is see friends. Okay. So that says, humans are social beings, and having close friends can make us happier. Who do you miss? Reach out to them. Make a date to get together or simply have a long phone chat. In adulthood, it can feel next to impossible to make new friends. But it's not about how many friends you have. It's about having meaningful relationships, even if it's just with 1 or 2 people. Try getting involved in a local volunteer group or taking a class. Both can help to connect you with like-minded people in your area, and chances are they're looking for friends too. Companionship doesn't have to be limited to other humans. Pets can offer similar benefits. Love animals but can't have a pet? Consider volunteering at a local animal shelter to make some new friends, both human and animal. Okay. So that was tip number 12. Now we'll get the board a little clean. So we're on to tip number 13. And tip number 13 is plan. Oh, this one's running out. I just got a little wet. Your week. Okay. Okay, so this says, feel like you're flailing about? Try sitting down at the end of every week and making a basic list for the following week. Even if you don't stick to the plan, blocking out time where you can do laundry, go grocery shopping, or tackle projects at work can help to quiet your mind. You can get a fancy planner, but even a sticky note on your computer or a piece of scrap paper in your pocket can do the job. Okay. So that's tip number 13. Okay, now tip number 14 is ditch your phone. Okay. So it says, unplug. Really. Turn off all the electronics and put those earbuds away for at least 1 hour once a week. They'll still be there for you later, if you still want them, that is. If you haven't unplugged in a while, you might be surprised at the difference it makes. Let your mind wander free for a change. Read, meditate, take a walk, and pay attention to your surroundings. Be sociable or be alone. Just be. Sound too daunting? Try doing a shorter amount of time several times a week. Okay. And moving on to number 15, and that is get into nature. Okay, so it says spending 30 minutes or more a week in green spaces can help lower blood pressure and depression. Your green space could be anything from your neighborhood park, your own backyard, or a rooftop garden. Anywhere you can appreciate some nature and fresh air. Better yet, add some outdoor exercise into the mix for extra benefit. Okay, that was tip number 15. Okay, now we're on to, let's clean the board a little. Okay, so tip number 16 is explore. Oops. Meditation. Okay. So it says here, there are many methods of meditation to explore. They can involve movement, focus, spirituality, or a combination of all three. Meditation doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as sitting quietly with your own thoughts for 5 minutes. Even the deep breathing exercises mentioned earlier can serve as a form of meditation. Okay. That was tip number 16. So tip number 17 is consider therapy. Okay. So what it says here is, we are certainly happier when we learn how to cope with obstacles. When you're faced with a problem, think about what got you through something similar in the past. Would it work here? What else can you try? If you feel like you're hitting a brick wall, consider speaking with a therapist on a weekly basis. You don't need to have a diagnosed mental health condition or overwhelming crisis to seek therapy. Therapists are trained to help people improve coping skills. Plus, there's no obligation to continue once you start. Even just a few sessions can help you add some new goodies to your emotional toolbox. Okay, that's tip number 17. Tip number 18 is find a self-care ritual. Okay, so it says, it's easy to neglect self-care in a fast-paced world, but your body carries your thoughts, passions, and spirit through this world. Doesn't it deserve a little TLC? Maybe it's unwinding your work week with a long hot bath, or adopting a skincare routine that makes you feel indulgent, or simply setting aside a night to put on your softest jammies and watch a movie from start to finish. Whatever it is, make time for it. Put it in your planner if you must, but do it. Okay. Okay. Let's give the board another little spritz. So the next few habits, it's giving our monthly habits. Okay, so the first one is give back. Okay. If you find that giving daily compliments provides a needed boost to your mood, considering making a monthly routine of giving back on a larger scale. Consider making. Maybe that's helping out at a food bank on the third weekend of every month, or offering to watch your friends' kids one night per month. Okay, that was tip number 19. Tip number 20 is take yourself out. Okay, so what it says here is no one to go out with. Well, what rule says you can't go out alone? Go to your favorite restaurant, take in a movie, or go on that trip you've always dreamed of. Even if you're a social butterfly, spending some deliberate time alone can help you reconnect with the activities that truly make you happy. Okay. Just got a few more here. Okay, so tip number 21 is create a thought list. Okay, let's see about this one here. It says, you arrive for an appointment with 10 minutes to spare. What do you do with that time? Pick up your cell phone to scroll through social media? Worry about the busy week you have ahead of you? Take control of your thoughts during these brief windows of time. At the start of each month, make a short list of happy memories or things you're looking forward to on a small piece of paper or on your phone. When you find yourself waiting for a ride, standing in line at the grocery store, or just with a few minutes to kill, break out the list. You can even use it when you're just generally feeling down and need to change up your thoughts. Okay. So that was tip number 21. Okay. Another little spray there. So now the last few tips are categorized as yearly habits. Okay, so tip number 22 is take time to reflect. Let's see. So what it says here is, the start of a new year is a good time to stop and take inventory of your life. Set aside some time to catch up with yourself the way you would with an old friend. How are you doing? What have you been up to? Are you happier than you were a year ago? But try to avoid the pitfall of judging yourself too harshly for your answers. You've made it to another year, and that's plenty. If you find that your mood hasn't improved much over the last year, consider making an appointment with your doctor or talking to a therapist. You might be dealing with depression or even an underlying physical condition that's impacting your mood. Okay. That's tip number 22. Tip number 23 is re-evaluate your goals. Okay, so that says, people change. So think about where you're heading and consider if that's still where you want to go. There's no shame in changing your game. Let go of any goals that no longer serve you, even if they sound nice on paper. Okay? That's tip number 23. Tip number 24 is take care of your body. So what it says here is, you hear it all the time, including several times in this article, but your physical and mental health are closely intertwined. As you build habits to improve your happiness, make sure to follow up with routine appointments to take care of your body, like see your primary care physician for an annual physical, take care of any chronic health conditions and see specialists as recommended, see your dentist for an oral exam and follow-up as recommended, or get your vision checked. Okay. So there's just one last tip here. So our last tip is let go of grudges. Okay. So what it says here is, this is often easier said than done, but you don't have to do it for the other person. Sometimes offering forgiveness or dropping a grudge is more about self-care than compassion for others. Take stock of your relationships with others. Are you harboring any resentment or ill will towards someone? If so, consider reaching out to them in an effort to bury the hatchet. This doesn't have to be a reconciliation. You may just need to end the relationship and move on. If reaching out isn't an option, try getting your feelings out in a letter. You don't even have to send it to them. Just getting your feelings out of your mind and into the world can be freeing. Okay. So that was our last tip here. Okay. So we'll just clean our board one last time. Okay, so I hope that maybe you saw some possible suggestions that maybe you'll try. Maybe it's something you haven't thought to do yet. But either way, I hope that somehow you will maybe benefit from this video or some of the tips that I've written down. Okay, so either way, I hope that you enjoyed the video. That's something positive. And thank you so much for watching.